Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I'll be continuing this grind for ATK Seeds. Let us hop right into it. So, I forgot to review this the first time I streamed a couple days ago, but let's just do that now. I'm starting off with 31 full drinks as well as 100 majors. So, I think my rough goal will be at least 20 majors today. I am switching to majors instead of full drinks just because I did rank up, so now I do have an uneven amount of maximum stamina. But yeah, let's do this. Why am I going to dailies? So as usual, we'll just be doing Intel Insurgency for the next 3 or so hours, unless I'm not feeling so well. Yesterday I did say I was going to stream Zen instead, but I wasn't feeling so hot, so I decided to reschedule for this day instead. In fact, I'm still kind of sick right now, but definitely better than yesterday. So at least I'm in the downward incline to the intensity of this sickness. And with that warning, we have 8 starting off, so we should be good for a while, for the next hour. Let's do this. So I did grind a bit since the last time I streamed. As I said, I did rank up. I finished a few other units. Very bad luck in first turn. You know, if this heal was fully level seated, I'm pretty sure you'd be able to defeat Prisonic and Yaksha even if he did fail to find and take me into other. But anyway, I am mostly done attack seating all of my column clears. I might consider doing mob next, but we'll just stick with the 3 stars and 4 stars and maybe switch to slash units from there. Yo, Prisma. Would you accept the donation? Hope you find new jobs in. Oh, thank you. Of course I'll accept the donation. It's not like it'll make bank for my monthly rent, but it definitely keeps me motivated to keep on enjoying this game and know that there are people looking out for me in some small way. You can either donate to the PayPal list in the description for a full amount, or you can make a more public one to the YouTube donation thing here. Yo, Zeno, welcome. Oh, no, we're using majors today. Just a couple more weeks before a new semester. One of these days I'll actually just run out of units to attack seed, in which case I'll actually just have nothing to stream from Housamo during these periods. I might consider streaming another game, but it's usually I kind of just like to play most of games personally, and half the time when I try a new game, you know, I might not even end up liking it, so it's like not really something I prepare to like in the end. Yo, Zelkus, welcome. Good enough for month attack on good feature. Thank you. That corresponds to where's the jingle. Oh no, this is my stream arm, it's not working right now. I don't know what that translates to. Thank you for the 20 CHF. I'm surprised that
と一緒だと笑いが止まらんぜ。さあ次はどこで稼ぎまくるんだ。さあガチ儲けのチャンス。楽しいな。楽しいな。向こうのビーチ。出し抜くぜ。
Very delayed alert. Thank you, Prisma, for the 2132.
まだまだ
楽しいな。出し抜くぜ。
まだ
そら。
That is definitely enough for monthly pack 1. Am I waiting for the chapter 13 translation for Blossoms or no hurry? No hurry, honestly, for various reasons. One, I don't really have any board wiping setups besides Oz, and I'm not confident the damage will be enough with whatever he outputs with whoever. And two, the Blossoms aren't gonna be that amazing either, since they're just gonna be regular tier Blossoms. The chapter 14 one I'll be looking forward to eventually whenever that gets translated, which you guys should be getting soon whenever the next translation comes out for greater Blossoms. But yeah, welcome to August. The only other game I could recommend is Astorka and Dislike. They're not also like gameplay wise. It's like, as much as I tout how much I love Housimo's gameplay, you know, it's like a conditional in the end of why I like Housimo's gameplay. I wouldn't have gotten into Housimo if it wasn't for the base appeal of the kind of characters that are in this game, and holy shit, with that said, you know, something that's just explicitly LGBT was good designs and furries isn't like the only thing I'm interested in. That's just like my brain niche appeal things. I'm actually a big fan of some more regular things as well, like visual novels. I guess visual novels aren't that big, but you know, I'm into the Xeriscape series, as you can tell by the music, the Simon Files, Songs and Rampa, things like that. Not really the dating sim visual novel stuff, but more the mystery stuff. Ace Attorney as well, yeah. With that said, I'm not exactly keen on streaming previous games from the Danganronpa series or anything like that, since I already know the story is. If a new game comes out in those series, then I will definitely consider streaming them. Historical is good, but not for me, but the slight pricing and some of the changes were bad, I see. Well, if I were to stream another game, you can generally count it's not going to be another gacha. I know for other people, it's like they like to explore other gachas and talk about other gachas. I mean, I feel like I don't want to get into that besides Housamo, because I already know gachas in general are dangerous to get into. Like the monetary investment over time. I mean, I guess the gameplay is more appealing to me for gachas in terms of just the long-term commitment and the patience that goes behind it for the min-max strategy. But maybe that's just Housamo. I don't know if it's true for other gachas. This late 3.1.9 update is yikes. I got to after it, I see. Just say free to play, by the way. I'm not free to play. I do spend a bit of money on Housamo, just not every single time. Mostly just during the special occasions such as the grab bag or the release of ARs for the first time. Or if there's something I really want to like Shirong, which I didn't get in the end. I streamed Atelier Visa 3 on Twitch, maybe Final Fantasy 16 later too. I see. Besides visual novels, there's also some other games that I like, but not necessarily want to stream, such as Final Fantasy 14. I haven't played that in a while, but it was enjoyable while I did. It's very suboptimal, and I don't play like other Final Fantasy people. Well, maybe I play like some category, but you know, I don't do the highest level dungeons and do progging and anything like that. I pretty much just do the roulettes and try to love all my classes. It's a very boring experience in the long term, but it's something steady to do in the meantime while you're playing through the main quest.
さあ次はどこで稼ぎまくるんだ。我大怪盗なり。
It might be worth my time to look up some of the games that I might enjoy streaming as well, though.
楽しいな。向こうの
There's only so many units to concede in the end, after all. For streaming, it's also the personality and commentary, but the game's still important. Yeah, I know. Actually, that's one of the main reasons I want to expand into other games. You know, I've been upgrading my setup and my video content and diversity for a while, and I hope that expands my audience, but, you know, ultimately it's going to be limited by the amount of people that are interested in Housamo. Actually, it's more limited than that. It's mostly limited to people who are interested in specifically the gameplay aspect of Housamo. So, that's actually a much smaller than you think as a fraction of the whole Housamo community. And when I look at other streamers, you know, some of them are known for a particular genre, but, you know, pretty much most are known, like the most well-known ones. I'm not trying to be the most well-known ones, but they generally all play multiple video games, except for like maybe a few that play extremely big video games, but just like one. But this is neither a very big video game, and it's also not coupled with other video games I'm playing. So yeah, I've been looking into just expanding my repertoire because I do want to showcase that, you know, there's more to it that I can offer than just Housamo stuff. I want to offer the personality and commentary, as they say. Not that I'm shilling for popularity or anything, but it's just I don't know, I feel like I produce some fun stuff, and reaching out to people can be fun. It certainly was enjoyable to meet people from those community. It'd be nice to meet other people. Most people don't actually like the gameplay Housamo, but everything else pulls them in. Yeah, so it's like I have like a tiny fraction of the entire Housamo audience, considering, you know, I actually like the gameplay, not just play it. Some Genshin Impact streamers are sick of it, but do it for money. It's good art for you to expand. I see. Yeah, I'd like to expand, but I'd also like to make sure I genuinely enjoy the games. Like, maybe if it can actually make considerable money that I can pay off rent, I'll consider playing games that I don't necessarily like. But right now, it's nowhere near that. Not even if you multiply my earnings by 10 times or even 100 times. My monthly revenue from ads on YouTube is like, what is it? Maybe around $5 to $10. And the thing is, you can't even redeem it until you get like a batch of 100. So it would take a while before I can even redeem any amount, like maybe almost a year. So nowhere near that level being profitable yet. With that said, maybe I could reach that if I could start expanding this stuff. But I want to be genuinely interested in it, if that's the case. No, don't use stamina drinks. The ones I'll definitely be streaming if they come out, and hopefully I don't catch COVID again. Fucking. The first time I did a committed playthrough, it was for the Summoning Files 2. Day 1, I caught COVID. I fucking hate that. And, you know, I really wanted to stream on release day, but it really impacted my stream quality as a result. There were some sound issues with the background, and I didn't know it was because I was too sick, and I wasn't as, like, reactionary or, what's called, communicative. It was just bad timing. And anyway, I hope I don't get that bad luck. Next time I stream something new, I'd be interested in streaming more IF and see if that comes out. Or Phoenix Wright, which I'm sure one will come out eventually. Danganronpa, unlikely. Zero Escape, unlikely. I'm keeping my eye out on that new game made by Kodaka, or is in development right now, called Project Raincoat. I might stream that if I'm interested enough, but I'm still unsure based on what trailers I've seen if it's my kind of game.
前と一緒だと笑いが止まらんぜ。さあ次はどこで稼ぎまくるんだ。
おー、今年の夏も楽しいな。
Put that Switch streaming equipment to use.
まだまだ
Yeah, you know what? I could.
楽しいな。
I do have thing. What's it called? A capture card. I use it for a short bit, but then I moved my Switch back to the living room because I'm not the only one who uses it in my family here. It's... I should just take it honestly, but I don't want to deny the others from being able to play it as a thing. But if I ever do a committed playthrough, maybe even casual playthrough, Splatoon. When Metroid Prime 4 comes out, I should definitely consider streaming that. That was fun. I should have streamed Dread when it came out. Well, I don't think I had capture card back then.
そら。
It's a good idea though, Zeldas.
まだまだ。
まだまだあげ
楽しいな。楽しいな。
バンバ
出し抜くぜ。
ンまだ
そら。
I heard rumors Switch is at the end of its life cycle. I mean, that's completely believable. If anything, it should have been on its way out for a while. It only really got extended because it blew up because of COVID, and I mean, it is an unknown feature of how it's going to contain simulations because it sort of is a merger between their console life cycle and their portable game console life cycle.
楽しいな。向こうのビーチで。
Like, is the Switch the end of their console, or you know, their dedicated mobile console? Is it really just gonna be all portable moving forward? Who knows? But you know, I've played my Switch plenty. I've got good usage out of it. Maybe didn't get as much games as other people do, but you know, I put in a shit ton of hours on Splatoon. I don't know if people would be interested in watching that, but I definitely would be passionate about it.
出し抜くぜ。
ま
そら。
Like, I'm surprised they put this on my playlist. It's a bit generic. Well, I guess it sounds nice enough, even if it is a bit short. You waited so long for your PlayStation 5 because Censored should have pre-ordered it. Censored? Do you mean COVID? Yeah. Yeah, I saw a lot of hype for PlayStation 4 and before, as well as, you know, the Xbox One and before. But what's called, ever since those game consoles, I didn't really understand the hype, or didn't really get the hype for any of the later consoles. Well, it's not that I didn't get them, it's not like I didn't see the hype among other people for it. They just kind of announced and then there's like no games for them, no exclusives. And, you know, I guess there was a graphical upgrade, but not really. Yeah, I don't get it.
楽しいな。
Thing with Nintendo is, Nintendo fanboy alert.
まだ
Not as much nowadays, but still a bit. I got a bit, but alert. You know, Nintendo consoles are nice because even if they don't necessarily make graphical improvements or hardware improvements, they still have some new way of interaction pretty much always. So there's something to look forward to with a new way to play games. Such as with the 3DS and 3D, and what's called the Switch and its portable slash console kind of switch over thing, the Wii with its motion controls, the Wii with the touchpad, and the asymmetric gameplay. Whether they're successful or not, that aside, there's always something new in Nintendo consoles, which is neat. Yo, Jockey, welcome. Nintendo hardware is dog water, but people eat it up. Rude, but also true. I mean, it's mostly the raw numbers that is dog water. But in terms of their interaction, their ability to try to innovate with, you know, not trying to innovate in the computational power side, but rather in the ways to interact side, I can respect that. Because like with PlayStation 5 and Xbox, Like, what are the innovations of the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox One? What's even after the Xbox One? I forgot. I think what they have going on is it's not really an innovation of the console itself. It's more like an innovation of the way they present games. At least for Xbox, they're doing that whole Xbox Pass thing. I think that's the latest innovation, but that's not really tied to the console itself. That's just more like the Microsoft environment. Whereas with Nintendo, I mean, criticize the competing power earlier on, but there's pretty much always some new way to interact, whether it's touching or motion controls or some shit like that. Am I trying to say for new semester? Of course I am. Even if I don't really care about anyone personally too much in the who is speculated to release on them. New semester is just going to be abound with new paradigm of kits. As it has always, well, it's a presumption to assume so this year, but it has so for the past few years introduced like a new paradigm of what kits will be like for the rest of the year. Last year it made way for accessible column clears as well as bird wipers. It introduced both Perron and Takaminkata and Disco and things like that. And the year before it introduced just more accessible Lianon replacements such as Yoritomo and more interesting gimmicky kits such as Masanori. Gotta say 2021's new semester is still my favorite out of all ones. But if you're talking about a specific unit I'd like to get, it would maybe be Haster. Although I have a feeling he's gonna be 5-star, so I'm not going too hard from it. Just anyone who's limited, there's 3 stars, and you know, Haster's kind of cute. Pazuzu's okay, I guess. Yuma's okay. I don't know if Kersha's gonna come out. I don't really care about Kersha, but yeah. Despite me liking furries, this primarily furry new semester is not super interesting to me. Well, then again, I don't think last year's new semester or the one before, design-wise, was super interesting to me either. It really is just going to be based on the kits in the end. There's very, very, very few units that I like design-wise, like ignoring their kits completely, just design-wise. I was like, I want them. Among them, it would be Jurong and what's his name? Gomon. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe just those two. There's also Kimun, but I kind of lost interest in him for various reasons. I do wish they were more generous with some sort of stone bonus for this campaign though, since new semester's just around the corner. It's very much just the 7 stone for maintenance that went behind this campaign. Didn't even mention Nobumichi, wow. Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know. You know, I like the Kenshi enough, it's just that when their like is so oversaturated before they're even released, it's kind of like I mentally let go of them from my mental space because I know someone else will do the remembering for me. I'm not much of a hipster, I think. Sorry about that. Anyway, no, I think, Michi's fine. Like, I'm a big fan of golden retrievers, but I think I like huskies more. We already have a golden retriever, Housamo, and he's chubby. And you know, Nomichi's just like even a golden retriever. He's kind of like one, but he has like brown ears or something. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. Jared's dogs have always been ambiguous to some extent, anyways. I don't really know what to think of these characters in general, anyways, nowadays. There's so much negative press about them. And also, I don't really have any personal experience with police myself. And it's actually kind of hot to have that power dynamic. I don't know. It's like in a world that I don't really interact with, so it doesn't do too much for me per se. And this song is really good. You know, sometimes I forget how good Housimo's music is because we get shit like Snowflake. But then you hear this, and it's like, this is such unique sound fonts. It's a unique progression. I don't know how to describe it. It's great. Yeah, Valentine music is generally a bit not always the best, but it was really good for what's it called? What was it? Time Warp, yeah. It was okay in fantasy. Fitting for the theme, but definitely it peaked in Time Warp. Actually, I think the battle scene in Coliseum was pretty good. When I first heard the song, I thought they took some notes from Pokemon Sword and Shield. I cannot comment on that because I haven't played Pokemon in a while. The last Pokemon game I played was Pokemon Sun and Moon. It was pretty fun, after like a long period of me not playing it from before then. But yeah, either way, it was just, once I beat it, I didn't bother with the competitive part. And that said, Pokemon Sun and Moon's music in some places was really good. I was a big fan of Lucine's theme, the Elite Four, things like that. The Guzma theme. Yo, Arathun, have you seen any Digimon seasons? I have not seen Digimon since I was a wee little lad. Well, where like Tai or Kai or whatever his name was the main character. And then the villain was some guy with passes or something like that. In the current Pokemon game, I like Penny theme. That will be the one that everyone's firing about right now. The one that was really bad, but ended up a lot of people played it anyways. That was in Sword and Shield, was it? No, it was like Lavender or something. Not Lavender, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, that's it. I mean, at least like the designs are good. You can also say that about every Pokemon generation though. Scarlet and Violet had some solid music. Zero Bell theme is incredible. I will maintain that the only reason to follow Pokemon, at least partially, is to understand the porn better. But that's pretty much. During my time working as an E621 uploader. I actually did learn a lot of Pokemon names because like there's so many Pokemon uploaded there. With that said, I can't really remember the more recent generations. Kind of crazy that I remember so many Pokemon released despite me not really playing the game. I don't play Pokemon, especially when it's just the same game reprinted every time. Oh, I feel that. I mean, I don't think I've played enough Pokemon games to really understand that full critique, but I've definitely seen that critique a lot. And you know, I played Pokemon, and I was like, oh cool, that's fine, but I didn't feel like getting another fix just because, you know, I don't know what else new they could add really that didn't really, it was cool from the last time I played. I think the game before Sun and Moon that I played was maybe like, Ruby or Sapphire or something like that, but it was okay. And the only differences that I think really were notable weren't even gameplay related. It was just the music and 3D animations, but gameplay wise it was just not really interesting to me, or not any more interesting to me than it was before. I only keep up for Pokemon for the porn too, to be honest. The Shina Inu Furryard. This man gets it, you get it, you get it.
逃げて逃げまくるぜ。ずっと追っかけられてんのが俺には気持ちいいのさ。今年の夏も楽しいな。
And this just reminds me of the Markiplier Smash Pass. You know, I was like, I don't follow Markiplier, but that was just my recommended, so I know what you're talking about specifically. Yeah, Markiplier just said Smash to a lot of the more humanoid female types, but then he just randomly said Smash to some very bizarre choices as well. But for the most, it's largely pass. I don't really understand people's opinions about Pokemon porn too much, because it's obviously, very obviously, insanely popular. Like, ridiculously popular. But it's like, you know, I don't really see people talk about, what's called, how hot Pokemon are besides ones that already look human. Because like 90% of Pokemon pretty much just look like quadruped animals. It's kind of treading on that line of peril. I'm not sure how most furries feel about it, and whether Pokemon fans specifically have a different mentality towards it. The best part when he says he will not explain himself. But yeah, I remember that. I will not elaborate. There will be no questions answered. Good day, sir. I mean, if we're talking about Pokemon, I've heard Quaquaval and Salazzle. I feel like those might be evolved forms of the duck water starter. But I don't Yeah, water starter from the Scarlet Violet and Lizard from Sun and Moon. I feel like I should have done the Sun and Moon one to actually play that one. Well, that's fine. There's like over 1,000, maybe even over 2,000 Pokemon. I'm surprised I even know this much, as if it was as essential as the fucking alphabet. Just to show you how successful Pokemon companies' corporate brainwashing is. Actually, they're not quite over what? Seriously? Didn't they already have over 150 in like since the first game? I guess they've been releasing consistently less than 150 ever since then. Like several generations. Seriously? I'm not even gonna pretend I know how many generations are. I was about to count them. I was like, no, I'm not that big of a fan. I will definitely have skipped several. That was definitely the wrong move because I got distracted. Shit! No, don't obstruct me. Don't do the thing. You did the thing. Let's just try to salvage this a tiny bit somehow. No! I got distracted. Give me a second. Damage is gonna be shite now. I don't think Finn would just press unless he has a thing. I don't think he does. Alright. Come on. Alright. He doesn't have this fucking thing and after turn 3. Oh my god, I should have just reset this fucking game. What's up black and white? We usually just get like 67 monsters in New Generation. Like a nice green code, no chandelier. Oh wait, no, I think they're just over 1k by single digit as of Scarred and Violent, if you count variants. But nowhere near 2k, I see. Well, I feel like they should be at this point, but maybe that's just because of their laziness to produce more. So I would rather you do tickle damage and not kill them. Then, you know, lose the chance to kill one-shot these losers over here. Oh no, fucking Arachne. I'm gonna trigger physics bullshit. Nasty behind him. Going in 10 turns soon. Alright. Clap him. This is the funny thing about one-turn setups. If you screw up even a tiny bit, then it just becomes like 10 billion years long, because they're very fine-tuned towards just clearing in a specific amount of turns. No, he wants you to make doubles, please. I fucking hate when somebody gets alive and they don't get blinded.
楽しいな。やるやないか。
And then they get guts, and then they make everyone's day ruined. And then they get guts again. How about
楽しいな。
you go and stay go?
楽しいな。
Go below range, guts resistance.
コンシャス見たかような将来有望のカウボーイ手綱つけとかなきゃ大損だ。
我
Would you have had Arachne punch him on the previous turn?
楽しいな。
I could have, but I didn't even realize he had guts at that turn.
まととりととり
I kind of don't want to think
楽
about
しいな。
Sandu being alive.
向こうのビーチで遊ぼう。
だとりだバンバ
出し抜くぜ。
ンま
そら。
ととりだまだまだ
楽しいな。
バンバ
出し抜くぜ。
そら。まだまだ。
ととりだととまだまだ
楽しいな。楽しい。
俺を
ととりバンバ
出し抜くぜ。
ンま
そら。お前と一緒だと笑いが止まらんぜ。さあ次はどこで稼ぎまくるんだ。
夏の最新ととりだ
楽しいな。
ととりだまだととりだととりだ
楽しいな。楽しいな。向こうの
ととりだバンバ
出し抜くぜ。
ンま
そら。
ととりだまだまだ
You know when I hear this music, I think of Irby.
とと
I'm just kind of shocked of how much of a big of a Bomb Bomb fan Irby suddenly became.
まだま
Because when he started playing this game, he was into Zabani at first, right? And then, you know, I know like Bomb Bomb is made fun of a lot for the same art style. But then he ends up liking pretty much every single Bomb Bomb, which is kind of
ま
funny.
だまだあげ
At least every single muscular one. Starting with Triton. There's only like a few non-Bomb Bombs I can say he likes. Like, maybe Kruznik and Sandu. Maybe Daikoku.
ととりだ
But generally, he likes all of the FCAR
出し
units
抜くぜ。
and
ま
そら。
Triton and fucking Jormungandr. Jeez.
お前と一緒だと笑いが止まらんぜ。さあ次はどこで稼ぎまくるんだ。
I mean, more power to him, but I figured he'd like more of the Ryu box or something. Whatever they're called. The one that made
行こうぜオーナー
Takemaru's
俺とととりだ
楽しいな。
ととりだととりだまだまだととり
楽しいな。楽しいな。向こうの
だととりだバンバ
出し抜くぜ。
ンまだ
そら。
ととりだまだまだ
楽しいな。
ととバンバ
出し抜くぜ。
ンまだま
そら。 まだまだ
まだまだあげ
楽しいな楽しいな
おとりだバンバン
出し抜くぜ。
At some point he was, but I don't even think he finished seeding Daikoku. You're not a fan of Kamei's art at first, but seeing all the event grains made me appreciate his art style a lot more. Yeah, I can see that. When his base forms is like leg from Kima, and pasty white skin from Miyaki, and all of them kind of having some very visible muscles in some bizarre way. He was a bit meme-dumb, just like some other artists in the game. But, you know, Miyaki's variant art is definitely a huge glow-up. And, what are the other variants he made? I think, Kima had one. I don't think it really fixed this issue, though. At least his writing is better. And his AR art looks pretty good, too. Oh yeah, Vargo. Vargo is also nice. I think Vargo was pretty good from the beginning. Just, you know, appeal to a specific taste.
おとりだまだまだ
楽しいな
おとりバンバン
出し抜くぜ。
Very cool for you to claim that.
そら
No, Kamei stand. Represent. Short man taste.
まだまだ
楽しいな
I don't think they're short. It's just that their legs are extremely stocky that makes them look
出し抜
short.
くぜ。
そらまだまだまだまだやな楽しいな楽しいそら
どうでした
I don't really have much of favorite arts like other people do.
次の季節
I
も
mean, I used to like Jiro a lot more, but then I realized I mostly liked his Mekoreko comic.
もち
His art's okay for this, although I just think his dogs are a bit ambiguous in terms of their breed. I like more like Mochi than I do like dogs.
おとりだおとり
In terms of favorite arts, so I think I like Tetsuaku's a lot. Not just because of the art style of Tetsuaku, but also because
だおと
we
りだ
have such a broad diversity of
出し抜くぜ。
styles. I think the Tetsuaku's
まだ
artists also do Suzuka, for example. It's anyone that has like a broad art style that's very distinct, or whoever they want to make. I'll give a thumbs up to. I think I'm also a fan of
おとりだ
whose art style
ま
is
だまだ
楽しいな
おとバンバン
出し抜くぜ。
whoever made the Osei Miniaki Tarutomo AR art was really cool. And also a big fan of Kombu's art and Ichiboshi, I believe. I think they're both in this game in some form. Yeah, Ichiboshi, right? AKA One Boshi. Both Ichiboshi and Kombu are both bangers.
ま
Right?
だまだあげ
楽しいな楽しいな
I can't remember what Ichiboshi drew exactly, but I do know that Kombu did Furufumi as well as all the leaked AR art. Because obviously Kombu's leaks are better than Bombom leaks. But you know, gotta give credit to Bombom for even designing such a key character in the first place.
楽しいな
おとりだ
そら
Tetsuaku's artist didn't do it Suzuka. Oh, I was thinking of the Tetsuaku Suzuka AR. But yeah, Echo, Benken, and Inaba, that's such a huge variety, the heck. I'm also a big fan of Inaba too, he's super good. Anyone wouldn't be able to pin it on Tetsuaku's artist. But yeah, and I'm of course a big fan of Benten too. She's just fucking awesome, her design's awesome, her writing's awesome. She's hilarious, alright.
楽しいな
Ichiboshi did Thunderbird, Hackman, Mephistopheles.
まだ
Oh, I see. I'm not really a fan of any of those characters. I just like Ichiboshi's art style outside Housamo, I guess. Maybe he did some AR art that I can't really remember. But
出し抜くぜ。
ま
そら
who did Jurong's? I believe Jurong was also maybe a new artist. Maybe he did some AR before, but I wasn't a big fan of him, but that might just be biased to
楽しい
Jurong.
な
But Ooh, I like Horus's design a lot. Yeah. It makes sense that the bird person drew more birds, but Horus's design specifically was like a gorgeous color palette of like royal blue with a gold and some accents of red. One of the ARs done by the artist Usamochi Daifuku was Benton Kuniyoshi leaked one, or leaked his style. I like that art. That is just funny. I like Kuga's artist's art. Because Kita was Jurong's artist. Did Kita draw anything else? Because Kuga is in general my favorite crybaby. How do you feel about Kusuga's art? I gotta say it is unique. Just in terms of from what's called an original design standpoint, in terms of going off of his original description of being like a fireball of Cthulian mythos, I do think Kasuga's design is fairly impressive, being some sort of almost a scaly but not really, having like tentacles for ears, while being fire based. It's kind of hard to describe him. He's not really like anything. He's like a lizard, but he's also like an octopus. So in terms of just doing some sort of fusion between cephalopod and what's called scaly, it's pretty impressive, his design. Not necessarily saying I like the art per se, but I do like the design choices in it. He did Takumi Nakata and One Summer's Day AR. I don't remember that AR by name, but I do remember Takumi Nakata. Takumi Nakata's face is cute, at least. I like his roundish nose. His hair is bizarre, but that's just because that's Takumi Nakata's hair in general. What can you do? Bizarre though that he also did Jurong. Would not have expected it. Quite different. I guess that's what happens when you're just trying to your body touch Jurong. I do like Arachne's artist too. It's like Zoo or something, I forget what their name is. But only when they're drawing girls. Because when they draw guys, they're pretty fucking hideous. The duo Shuichi art still haunts me to this day with the wise men they are. The free AR was Jurong. That's someone. Oh yeah, that was so cute. I like that one. Oh, that's Jurong. So if I were to say pick a character or an artist that I didn't really like their art style, it would probably be Now Up. Mostly because they're a bit too generically twink/tonk with Jiraiya and what's his face, Hermes, and is Hermes playing up? He seems like an up character, but you know, and Shuten and things like that. They don't really stand out design-wise is my issue. Like, the art style could work, but in terms of the design choices, they're very vanilla. Isafril, Jiraiya, Pollux, Shuten, Taurus Mask, Tetsuya, Yorito, and Zabanya are his characters. Yeah, they're also plain. Jesus Christ. The only one that might be unique to me is I don't know, even Yorito looks plain. It's mostly just his outfit that looks interesting, but everyone else is kind of big snooze. Big snooze. Kotsuga, the Fire Salamander. I guess that's fairly accurate. The only artist I'm not really crazy about is Pudding, and at least there's Nightmare Shambhavan who I like. Oh, so what's called Pudding AKA Starporn? So the one who made Gabriel and Shambhavan and Alice, I believe. Well, they definitely seem out of place, Gabriel and Alice, in terms of, for most of the other art styles in this game being catered towards gay, what's called furries, or gay of some capacity, men for men. That one is like strictly, I don't know, appealing to a very cutesy, generic heterosexual vibe that you see on anime or something like that. A bit loose fusion. Okay, yeah, those ones are a bit bizarre in terms of design. Lucifuge just fucking... I don't know what he did to him. I mean, I don't know. It's fine that he exists. I do wish he had more representation though, some sort of variant. And his fashion is fine, and also his personality is pretty charming. Design-wise, it's a bit mean what they did, but not everyone has to look like super sexy, I suppose. Hati though, I mean, Hati's... I personally don't like twinks, but I think my main bizarre issue is just how he like wears boisterously loud pink as a Gabriel stan. It's hard for me to take seriously. It's funny, but it's also... It really kind of ruins the sense of style, or the vibe I get from him. Especially when his default is just some lazy sweater or whatever it is. And Gab and Maria together. These bitches gay. Good for them, good for them. Yeah, they really are a good pair with each other. I mean, we only see hints of it in the main quest, but then it's Labrador and Fashionista and pretty much every Christmas event, and just whenever Maria shows up trying to do something in secret with Gabriel. They're very cool with each other. The AR together was also really cute. One of the good ones by whatever her face was. Nice that despite Bomb Bomb's propensity for males, his females also gets, you know, notable attention in the story as well, and development between what's called Maria and Christine. I like Kati's swimsuit skin, but Jesus Christ, he literally needs anything for buffs. He's just so unuseful. I think he has Brawn guaranteed on move or something like that. Which is, you know, it's unique, but he just needs an entire retool at this point. He's only low range even then. It's not great. He deserves less. Yeah. I think he's okay as a character. You know, his story is interesting. The perspective of Housamo going as far as saying, you know, even his love is fine. He just needs to tone it down for, you know, the safety of Gabriel. I did like chapter 4. I really should reread it eventually in terms of the masterpiece of that, you know. Despite your fucked up various ways of loving, it's still a form of love that we see as valid, which is unique in perspective, because usually, you know, the perspective is just only one correct way of loving. But in terms of story appearances, he's mostly kind of a joke character. appearing in Gabriel fan clothing.
まだまだ終わりだ
Pretty much only whenever Gabriel shows up. Main issue with Haki is really just his
死ぬくぜ
overuse and
まだ
irrelevance in the Discord channel for spam. But that's less to do with Haki and more to do with like people who don't know how to hold a proper conversation. As soon as you said that, I was looking into whether or not I could use Hati with Danburishiro and Summer Oz. But the Brawn is on move. I literally said the Brawn is on move. It's guaranteed, but it's on move. I vaguely remember that. That's the only reason I remember that is because I tried to remember all units based on one unique thing. His unique thing is literally just that. No one else has that skill. Like something Moonlight or something like that. Brawn on move. He is guilty by association, I'm afraid.
まだまだあげ
These Housamos deserve better than to be caught by guilt by association. You should just purge the ones that ruin these characters. Isn't even guaranteed. Oh, it's not? Okay. Maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe it's 70% or something like that. I think I'm mistaking it for the rate that the Oni have.
どうでした世間の先行く私のモード次の季節もそのまた次も
90%.
荒くねちゃんがいただきねもちろんあなたの移ろう心も
我
But
大
yeah, there's pretty much never reason to use Hati. Even if you like them, you can just toss them in the back. If you really want to use them for like, I don't know, don't use them as... I don't know how you'd even use them specifically for blow damage, really?
死ぬくぜ
Not great.
まだ
See, when I'm telling people how to play the game, I take different approaches depending on where they are with the game. If they're just starting the game, then they may not be fully invested in the game yet. And so I start prioritizing advice for how to play, not based on what the best possible setup is, but rather based on a way that they will facilitate them to enjoy the game more as they play. And in that case, the first thing I would suggest is actually a way for them to start enjoying thinking about the game mechanics, which would be to design a team around their favorite units. And that's generally what I do for most people who are starting out. Tell them who are your favorite units, and then like tell them about strengths and weaknesses and who to complement them in. And then I tell them, then they learn about how different buffs can't, or the same buff can't be used twice, and they need to think about overlapping and all that in different roles. But after a certain point, you just can't use certain units, even if they're your favorites. If you want an actual optimal setup, if you're playing for something beyond just like your favorites and actually playing for gameplay optimization, like you're never gonna use Hati. Period.
今年の夏も楽しいな
Pretty sure there are one-star units better than Hati. Yeah, Devil's better than Hati.
楽しいな向こうの
死ぬくぜ
そーらカッカッカ
まだまだ
楽しいな
死ぬくぜ
そーら
Oh, we're at the 2 o'clock mark. Okay, let's start using our seeds now. For the first batch.
楽しいな
死ぬくぜ
そーら
Thank you, 3 turn.
どうでした世間の先行く私のモード次の季節もそのまた次も荒くねちゃんがいただきねもちろんあなたの移ろう心も
I'll finish up with Oz. And this should be enough to finish up Oz and start the next unit, whoever it may be. I probably should have checked if I maxed there or not. It'd be embarrassing if I did. Well, that was 40 used. Yeah, I would have been at 89, so I wouldn't have been capped. That's good. Now his charge will do slightly more tickle damage. And these choices are not looking great. We'll do Bar Ghost. He's generic enough that he'd be featured decently enough. When I learned Fenrir was in the game, I wanted him, but they fucked him up. Especially the charge. Like, what the fuck? What's this charge? It's like cursed or something? Let's go ahead and toss our miniature blossoms on him. The boy. Actually, he's a bit too high to start using miniature blossoms. So let's go ahead and toss it on Shiba, I guess. He's already at 102 though. Ugh. There's not really anyone else I want to give them to though. I'll have to think about this later. Hello? There you go. Heal on hit, but it's trust range, so you can only heal so much. Yeah, that's not great. At some point, they need to start giving evos again for these older units. They used to do it so regularly before, and then they just sort of whittled down at some point. Instead of relaxing the amount of evos they gave and only doing it for, like, reprinted banners.
Sa, ガチ儲けのチャンスだ。楽しいな。
まだ
楽しいな。むこ。
出し抜くぜ。
そら。カッカッカ。
まだ
楽しいな。
出し抜くぜ。
そうカッカッカ。
We're back to ban Fenrir, who was already awful, especially for the banner he was on, getting a terrible evil. Wow, blind reversal. I always thought he was decent. Like, nowadays he's not, because of just how we play. But being able to spread curse was a unique thing.
俺を捕らえに。
Not much people could do that, I think. Actually, I think the curse spread was post-evo, but you know, either way, he was a decent cursor. I mean, yeah, lots of old units need skill evolutions, but I'm worried that all of these skill evolutions would be Shinya tier skill evolutions with the attack up resistance. No, you definitely need to work on the timing on that. It's just not helpful.
どうでした？世間の先行く私のモード。次の季節もそのまた次も荒くねちゃんがいただきね。もちろんあなたの移ろう心も。
It's a very impressive trait when Shiro exists. Well, it's a difference in range, right? Shiro's like match range, but sometimes you want a wider range. And also with the spread, he can effectively get two different rows entirely in a large map, which I think is pretty impressive. They most likely just want skill evo the most popular ones first. Hati never been popular. Yeah. And they evoed some unpopular units if I remember correctly. But mostly the popular ones, I believe. Well, one thing that Tenryu can do that Shiro can't is also heal, so that's pretty complementary to his damage down resistance. Or damage down from curse, rather.
出し抜くぜ。
そらまだまだカッカッカ
まだまだあげ
楽しいな楽しいな
出し抜くぜ。
そらまだまだまだまだやなカッカッカ楽しいなそら
Well, you know, I know there's a lot of crap units right now that could use Evos. But let's be real, we don't need Evos more than we need right now harder quests. So even though we do have, like, a lot of units that are certainly unusable, as a whole right now we just have quests that are just not challenging whatsoever because of the huge diversity of units we have that are all super strong, or for the most super strong.
我大怪盗なり。
楽しいな
まだ
楽しいなむか
出し抜くぜ。
そらカッカッカ
Survival quests, or something that requires a different transients for a strategy. Yeah, I'm looking forward to more, I mean, there's no guarantee it's gonna happen, or even suggestions gonna happen, but more victory conditions would be nice, that none of the current units are currently specialized for, to make way for a new type of unit. Perhaps to give a chance to some other units that could get Evos to get better curated for them.
まだまだ
I gave some examples before, but you know, it's things like charge X amount of times before X turn, or like a finish with an X turns below a certain amount of HP or above a certain amount of HP, things like that.
これからも
Giving mobs after being hit debuffs would discourage all range,
ずっと追っかけられてんのが
I mean, I've been always a proponent of that. Not just not after being hit, but rather before being hit. Before being hit would be a lot better, so that it would actually just penalize, you know, you from turn wanting them.
楽しいな向こうのビーチでは
And things like specific conditionals to either reduce the efficacy of specific damage amps, you know, like vigor, weakness, for example, being inflicted, or even things like vigor resistance to outright remove it.
まだまだ
There's still the specific problem of buffs that are currently, or damage amp sources that are currently unremovable, such as Fushi's thing and Yoshi's thing and Shiba's damage source. In those cases, I don't know, maybe we should even start removing irremovable statuses and shit like that, and also start directly penalizing all range.
Mada mada!
まだまだあげ
楽しいな楽しいな
出し抜くぜ。
そら
Making units resistant to having their buffs removed would be a good counter towards regular Shiva too.
成功。これからも逃げて逃げまくるぜ。ずっと追っかけられてんのが俺には気持ちいいのさ。
行こうぜオーナー俺と
楽しいな楽しいな向こう
出し抜くぜ。
そーら
おとりだ。まだまだ
楽しいな。
I mean, they did do that in Downtown Fantasy with the Boogeyman high difficulty quest, but they didn't make him resistant to the guts resistance effect, so it didn't matter. Yeah. This was very silly. I always found it weird that Fenrir doesn't have Rage, Berserk, or Fear in his hit base of his mythology. Feels like a missed opportunity. I think it's unsurprising just because Fenrir was a very near Generation 1 unit. They didn't really design units that well related to their mythology back then. In fact, they just gave them a bunch of shared skills.
夏の最新
楽しいな。
おとりだ。まだまだおとりだ。
楽しいな。向こうのビ
おとりだ。バンバ
出し抜くぜ。
ン
そーら
おとりだ。まだまだ
楽しいな。
バンバン
出し抜くぜ。
まだ
そーらまだまだ
おとりだ。まだまだ
楽しいな。
バンバ
出し抜くぜ。
ン
そーらやるやないか。
I remember one of the Cyber Summer High Difficulty quests with Summer Hephaestus had him and Summer Talos give each other a special unremovable ardor that gave them a massive defense boost. Yes, I remember that too. I don't think... was the ardor not removable? Maybe they were just resistant to buff removal. But I do remember that it was mostly just like an ardor strengthening effect where if they had ardor then something else would activate, which would be that massive defense boost. You had to separate them to deal with it. I thought that was cool. Also, hi, yo, John Rivera, nice to see you. Yeah, I vaguely remember that too. Back when Virtual Summer Memory was actually something that people remembered. I remember that. Brute Force said it was Kasuga. I did some sort of strategy, I forgot what. I think it was just stalling them or some shit like that.
楽しい
It's
な。
been a while.
おとりだ。まだまだおとりだ。
楽しいな。
おとり
Oh, no,
だ。
I didn't move them.
出し抜くぜ。
まだまだそーら
おとりだ。まだまだ上げ
楽しいな。向こうのビッタ
バンバ
出し抜くぜ。
ンまだ
そーらやるやないか。楽しいな。楽しい。まだまだ
おとりだ。まだまだ上げ
楽しい
The
な。
background high difficulty quests were still somewhat challenging.
バンバ
出し抜くぜ。
ン
そーら
I'm not
やるやない
too,
か。
what's it called, expecting of this year when it comes to harder difficulty quests. be something I'd hope for, but the trend's not really set. Maybe something will happen if and when Chapter 14 gets translated. I don't even know. There hasn't really been any news about it lately, about that being eventually translated. Did they say that in the announcements? Or rather, the plans for 2023 of Chapter 14 will be released? I don't even remember. Maybe they won't release it this year. That would be weird, though. It's kind of essential that they release a new chapter every year, just because if they don't... I was thinking this earlier. If they don't release a new chapter every year, then they just won't have enough units for a new semester for that corresponding year.
向こうのビーチで
死ぬくぜ。
まだまだ。
カッカッカ
まだまだ
楽しいな
死ぬくぜ。
それカッカッカ
まだまだ。
まだまだ
楽しいな楽しいな
死ぬくぜ。
まだ
それ
お前と一緒だと笑いが止まらんぜ。さあ次はどこで稼ぎまくるんだ。
行こうぜオーナー。俺と
楽しいな
Luki says they only plan to release Chapter 14 prologue chapters, which they did during the Kirito Bigfoot banner.
向こうのビーチ
Kirito Bigfoot banner. I don't even remember if that was last year or this year. I feel like it was last year, but maybe it was this year. If they only plan to release... So we're not gonna get the Chapter 14... Oh my god, I'm gonna be fucking grinding this quest for the next year. Jesus Christ. It would be great if they released the translation earlier than Chapter 14 itself, you know? So I could actually catch up. Thank you for confirming that, by the way. Released on anniversary number 6. Okay, so that was on December then. How could they even promise the Chapter 14 prologue for the next year? Well, that's not even a promise. That's just like it happened at the same time that they announced the plans for 2023. That shit doesn't make sense. What? Because the announcements for next year happens during the anniversary. So they just released it on the anniversary and said, that's our plans. We just did it. The fuck?
お前と一緒だと笑いが止まらんぜ。さあ次はどこで稼ぎまくるんだ。
I swear to God, affiliations better be amazing once that actually has effects. Because if there's no chapter translation, I'm dead.
楽しいな
まだ
楽しいな楽しいな向こうのビー
死ぬくぜ。
まだ
それカッカッカ
まだまだ
楽し
I must have had like 4 or 5 laws just right now. My saliva's tasting a bit weird.
死ぬくぜ。
それカッカッ
まだまだ。
まだまだ
楽しいな楽しいな
Right now, it looks like the only thing to look forward to in game is the date quests. Okay, gang. If and when I find something interesting to play that's not Housamo, I'll let you guys know and I'll stream it. One of these days. I don't know if Housamo will hold even me at this rate. Not that I'll be dropping or anything, but if there's just no content to look forward to, then I'd like to be able to have fun in some other ways.
まだ
楽しいな向こうのビ
とりだバンバ
出し抜くぜ。
ンまだ
そら
とりだ
The only good unit on the big quest banners is looking like Shiva.
楽しいな
But to be fair, he's like the best unit in the entire game, so it is something, I guess.
出し抜くぜ。
The game's pretty slow when it comes to content.
まだ
そら
I mean, I've been playing for a while. Is it slower this year than previous years? For the past few years, yes. It might have been this slow before, in like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, but it's been decent with content ever since until now.
楽しいな楽しいな
とりだバンバ
Even before they got other games,
出し
yeah.
抜くぜ。
ンまだ
そら
If you're talking about live, yeah.
どうでした世間の先行く私のモード次の季節も
Yeah, but I wouldn't pull for a snow, hef, or kata. Maybe Christmas sea tree, but that's it.
あなたのうち
我大怪盗なり。
I probably wouldn't pull for any of them, honestly.
とりだとりだ
楽しいな
とりだバンバ
出し抜くぜ。
ンま
そら
I might throw a few tickets at the Shiva date banner. Just for River Shiva.
とりだ
2 5 stars, it's
ま
not
だ
looking
ま
likely.
だ
楽しいな
バンバ
出し抜くぜ。
ンまだ
そら
Do date quests usually have evos? Wasn't nice. Oh, hey Peachy.
まだ
Thanks
ま
for
だ
subbing.
楽しいな楽しいな
Actually, I'm not even sure Peachy's necessarily watching this stream right now. But
出し抜く
wherever
ぜ。
you are, Peachy, you're
ま
just clicking on a random video link and press the subscribe button. Much love, Toronto.
楽しいなそら
どうでした世間の先行く私のモード次の季節もそのまた次も荒くねちゃんがいただきねもちろんあなたの移ろう心も行こうぜオーナー俺とりだ
楽しいな
りだまだり
Yeah,
だ
they usually give evos, but the only one I'm interested in that list, I'm interested in regards to that is Hakumen, who'll get 3 skill evolutions at this point. She's already had quite a few evos, hasn't she? But I mean, her 1 evo that she had across her 3 cards is pretty decent. With that said, it's something. Give us a better evo for the date banner. Snow already had an evo, so he'll probably go to his variant. His Valentine one, which honestly you don't see.
楽しい
So I
な
won't pull for that because I don't have his variant. Or rather, I won't be pulling. You know, it'll depend on the evos, but I doubt it'll be as game changing as something like Rio
ま
is.
だ
そら
Okay, none of those units I have their evos for their variants for it anyways, besides Hawkman, so not looking forward to that evos variant, personally.
りだまだまだあげ
楽しいな楽しいな
出し抜くぜ。
まだ
そら 楽しいな。
お通りだ。
そーら。
どうでした？世間の先行く私のモード。次の季節もそのまた次も荒くねちゃんがいただきね。もちろん。
おー、今年の夏も楽しいな。
お通りだ。お通りだ。お通りだ。
楽しいな。
お通りだ。バンバン。
出し抜くぜ。
まだ。
そーら。
お通りだ。まだまだ。
楽しいな。
バンバン。
What kind of dog is Maritaki and Chino supposed to be anyway? See, that's the thing. I don't know. I think some people found some approximates, but Jiro's dogs, I don't know. I struggle to call them dogs. They're just a breed of their own. They don't really correspond to any specific breed. What is Tanatomo supposed to be? What is Tanatomo supposed to be? What is Yoshito supposed to be? They all just look like some vaguely furry thing with like a dog nose. They don't really correspond to a specific breed otherwise.
楽しいな。
お通りだ。
そーら。
作戦成功。これからも逃げて逃げまくるぜ。ずっと追っかけられてんのが俺には気持ちいいのだ。
さあ、夏の最新のお通りだ。
楽しいな。
I'm not saying they should correspond to a breed.
お通りだ。
If anything, I like the originality of not having to depend on something that already exists in the real world.
向こうのビ。
お通りだ。バンバ
出し抜くぜ。
ン。まだ。
そーら。
お通りだ。まだまだ。
楽しいな。
バンバ
出し抜くぜ。
ン。まだ。
そーら。まだまだ。
お通りだ。まだまだ。
楽しいな。楽しいな。
お通りだ。バン
出し抜くぜ。
バン。
そーら。まだまだ。まだまだやな。
Tadatomo is based on a type of dog called a Kaiken, but that's in Sinopedia, so I don't think we're going to know the answer for country breeds for a while. Isn't Moritaka and perhaps even Chino already in the Sinopedia? If their breeds weren't specified there, then I don't think they'll be specified.
どうでした？世間の先行く私のモード。次の季節もそのまた次も荒くねちゃんがいただきね。もちろんあなたの移ろう心も。行こうぜオーナ。俺と
楽しいな。
お通りだ。お通りだ。
楽しいな。
お通りだ。バンバ
出し抜くぜ。
ン。
そうまだまだ。
お通りだ。まだまだ。
楽しいな。
バンバン。
Noki doesn't have anything on Mori or Shina's breeds. Does the wiki normally have Sinopedia information? Interesting. I didn't even know that. They are the But the breed that makes you want to spend all your stones on them. That breed.
まだまだ
楽しいな楽しい
バンバ
出し抜くぜ。
ンま
そーら楽しいな
鳥だ
Halloween Police was a very fun event. I mean, not that it was translated, but the music was just a joy to listen to.
やったぜ高いような将来有望
Very impressive and cute breed.
手綱つけとかなきゃ大嘘
Submissive and breedable.
行こうぜオーナー俺と鳥だ
楽しいな
鳥だまだまだ鳥だ
楽しいな楽しいな向こう
出し抜くぜ。
まだ
そう
まだまだまだまだ
楽しいな
鳥だ
楽しいそうら
鳥
It was a good event. You had a fun level 80 high difficulty quest that couldn't be cheese with Shiva combo. What was the Halloween level 80 quest again? Let me think about it.
俺を
The first one was... I think it was like Hoto hitting the back or something, or a beast hitting something in the back. Or was that the level 80 one?
そうら
Oh yeah, it was like the one where Azasos turned everyone into Long Slash, wasn't it? Level 80 was kill all the event units on a team, and Azasos turned everyone into Long Slash, including the charges, I believe, which was kind of funny.
鳥だ
Azasos,
ま
let's
だ
go.
まだ
楽しいな楽しいな
That would be a simple solution to prevent all range cheese, wouldn't it?
出し抜く
It
ぜ。
would like force everyone into a weapon range.
そうら
まだまだ
まだまだやな楽しいな楽しい
ま
そうら
やったぜ高いような将来有望のカウボーイ手綱つけとかなきゃ大損だ
I hope we have a Halloween event this year again. I'd like for it to be a yearly thing rather than a bi-yearly thing like it was in years
楽しい
past.
な
It's just like a good way to get mobs, and it's a lot more lighthearted and feeling than other
楽
events are. Off
楽
events.
しいな向こうのビーチ
鳥だ
Finally, a reason to use Tita after the main quest.
出し抜くぜ。
Oh yeah, his blow range,
そうら
sniping, or his snipe range blow. Tita's quite a good unit, honestly, his variant. And I actually did use Tita, his regular version, during the stupid
鳥だ
treasure hunt CP event that didn't have any new units.
楽しいな
He's one of the better choices, I guess, for the white map. At least if he didn't have
出し抜く
if he
ぜ。
wanted the maximum bonus.
まだ
そうら
You didn't get Taji regular? That's fine. Doesn't do much besides
鳥
like
だ
doesn't do oppress
まだまだ
after hitting people. That's just
楽しい
the side.
な
You do that with like nausea or some shit.
向こうの
鳥だバンバ
出し抜くぜ。
ンまだ
そうら
まだまだ
まだまだやな楽しいな
鳥だ
そうら
どうでした世間の先行く私のモード次の季節もそのまた次も荒くねちゃんがいただきねもちろんあなたの移ろう心も
ああ今年の夏楽しいな
鳥だまだ鳥だ
楽しいな 向こうのビーチで遊ぶ。
I didn't like the Warmongers event last year, but that was because the Warmongers and Berserkers do not have a lot of good ranged options outside of event units. Yeah, I felt that. The fact that I even had to use the snipe unit Tita for a wide map says volumes.
まだまだ
楽しいな。
It was definitely one of the more miserable quests to grind.
出し抜くぜ。
まだ
そーら。
Still, it was better overall than Snowfight as a whole, so I'll give it that. I will give it that.
楽しいな。
俺をトライに。出し抜くぜ。
I hope Snowfight turns out to be good story-wise whenever it gets translated, because everything else so far of it was not great.
どうでした？世間の先行く私のモード。次の季節もそのまた次も荒くねちゃんがいただきね。もちろんあなたの移ろう心も。
さあガチ儲けのチャンスだ。
楽しいな。楽しいな。向こうの
出し抜くぜ。
まだ
Wouldn't they just give enemies a special defense buff against all range for high difficulty quests? It wouldn't necessarily be an end-all answer, of course. LifeWonders could honestly do anything to do with it. Just feels like they aren't trying. That's exactly it, actually.
まだまだ
They are trying.
楽しい
It's
な。
inexcusable, especially when they already have existing solutions against all range, or what they've done.
出し抜くぜ。
Even ignoring the whole all range thing,
そーら。
Snowfight was just very minimal effort for the first and third challenge quests. The first one, they straight up, looking at the game data, there was no new gimmick in the first high difficulty quest. They were just all regular 3 stars facing you.
まだまだ
And the third one, the only gimmick added, looking at the game data, was actually just guts. There was no other gimmick added to that. And just for the third phase, which we already have a perfect counter for, and then you could just all range everything with pause and the AR,
出し抜く
the
ぜ。
guts resist in the AR. Like, why?
まだ
そーら。
The second one was like, it had some decently okay mechanics, but they weren't unique. Like hitting an enemy multiple times, we've already had several challenge quests like that, and like even flash
楽
quests.
しいな。楽しい。そーら。
It's okay, I like learning more about Tanatomo, but that was about it for me. I see.
お前と一緒だと笑いが
That's unfortunate. I was hoping something interesting about
どこで稼ぎま
what's
くるん
called
だ。
Gear Makala, but I guess it's just a debut event anyways. Tanatomo's writing is probably interesting because he has a whole lot of
ガチ儲
history
け
with
の
the
チャンス
Hakenshi.
だ。
I don't know about Yoritomo at all, really. He's supposedly another historic figure in Japanese history.
楽しいな。向こうの
出し抜くぜ。
ま
そう
まだまだ。
But yeah, they definitely aren't trying. At least they didn't with Snowfight. You can make an argument for them sort of trying with the previous high difficulty quest from the past year, but Snowfight was just straight up them not trying.
出し抜くぜ。
And that definitely deflated my motivation to produce some videos for it. They need to put up more standard counters to the most common strategies. Like, they've already put in a standard skill in most enemies. Oh, they didn't even put it for Snowfight, which is pathetic. But for most other high difficulty quests, they put up a standard skill that makes them resistant to bind and skill lock and possession and things like that. And essentially anything that disables them. And if they're already doing that standardly, then what's stopping them from making other things standard, like resistance to all range, or some sort of damage reduction, or things like that. Just anything that counters the most obvious strategy nowadays. Because bind was an obvious strategy back then, but now it's like just blowing everything up instantly at all ranges, the most common strategy. not hard, just implement a common skill that will prevent that outright.
楽しいな
まだまだ
楽しいな
It's not that I don't think all range doesn't have a place. It's more so specifically all range that blows everything up instantly before you, like, the enemy can do anything. Because, like, there has to be a mechanic for you to actually experience against the enemy. And you can't really experience that if you just blow them up instantly. You need to at least wait a single turn to see what the enemy does in return, right? Make them, I don't know, resistant to all damage in first turn or something, like they did with the Miyaki phase and what's it called? Hell Hot Spring. Something like that. Anything like that. Really, anything. I mean, there was the Fashionista reprint Height of Chaos for the Literally Broken Out release. I was so proud when I did level 61 with buffs. Not something to be proud of, considering they're worse than actually no gimmick at all. Since the gimmick was, they just removed all their skills, which is bizarre. Like, how does that happen? The fuck? They didn't not only not having gimmick skills, they also just didn't have any skills, period. They're essentially just walking hitboxes. It's a very lazy implementation for a very important event. But then again, the entire Fashionista reprint was lazily done since that should have been released ages ago. They're broken for the entire event too, yeah. You guys remember the New Year's re-release of the Year of the Cat or Year of the Tiger event? The re-release was actually broken because you're only supposed to defeat specific units in that, but in the re-release you're supposed to defeat everyone because they just didn't implement that specific condition again. Also, I don't know what's up with the conditions. They're not really showing nowadays either. Like, sometimes they show when they don't need to show, such as for the hint was nice in Kabukicho Night Festival with the riddle, but they technically it was the same objective in the end that you needed to beat everyone. I mean, it was necessary for the riddle, but the objective itself was the same of eliminating everyone. And then there's the case with Snow Fight's second height of quest where he's supposed to defeat just Tsukashi Poka, but it didn't even say that in the beginning, so you would assume he had to defeat everyone just looking at it. So, you know, it seems very inconsistent since they already had all these things that were already set up before. I can only guess that they have like some new staff or something like that in the game development department that is just not familiar with what they've done before. Because there's just a lot of inconsistencies that don't make sense. Whether it's in the kits that are being released now versus, you know, the high difficulty quests we're being posed with. I didn't know that when I did it. I didn't know until the milk event video, I think. Yeah, it's because, you know, if you're blowing everyone up instantly, you're not gonna second doubt it because it's been possible for a while and it should be possible for Fashionista. That's the thing when you're used to it. If you can blow everything up instantly, you won't notice when the quest is actually, like, not functioning properly. Also, the music was broken for all the sieges, so it was just battle.ogg. Yeah, I remember that. I like the 80 height of quest for Kabukicho, but I accidentally cheesed the 61 with Evasion Pearson. I mean, I think that's not an accident. There's literally someone in your team that lets you just inflict evasion resistance. It's a nice riddle in concept, but the fact that you can overcome it so easily with just any amount of evasion piercing is a bit silly. I mean, it's, you know, an intentional counter, and I guess it makes sense for a level 61, but I don't know, it's a bit too easy as a result. But again, level 61s were always that way. I did like the level 81 though, as well. I know a lot of people, among my peers anyways, would disagree with that sentiment, but I personally like the effort they put into it. Even if the team building didn't necessarily matter in the end. You cannot say they didn't put effort in that quest, because there was a lot of specific effects going on in that quest, whether it was, you know, unresistible weapon change and giving everyone permanent extended movement despite their movement, and making certain people resistant stuff, and having everyone move in a specific way, and it was essentially almost unbreakable, the quest, with how specific it was. And it was testing something, if not your team building, which was your ability to carry, which honestly is impressive as a concept at all, because you're not really taught anywhere explicitly about carrying. and it's not really been necessary technically anywhere so far. But in that case, fearing was absolutely necessary. Because for any other quest, fearing is just not necessary. Just move every unit one by one. For that one, you absolutely need to do it. And not just fearing, but like very complicated moves with fearing. So I was impressed by that, even if it was just like bringing out a game. Honestly, something like even Conan 2 with Baos is something that would be cool. Yeah, what was it? I think that was the third one, wasn't it? Yeah. Bale was the third challenge test, believe it or not. The second one was the one that was hard with multi-phases. It's where we get a boss fight with a single small enemy. And I remember he was really tanky and had a lot of gimmicks. Yeah, I remember that too. I was impressed by it. Irby wasn't, but, you know, he just generally doesn't like one-phase quests. And to be fair, that quest was also, you could defeat it in a single turn with the right setup. That was a problem, of course. It can be done properly though if they just, you know, prevent that from happening. Because there was a very intricate design of patterns and weapon changes and that I thought was impressive. It made it feel like you're playing a Final Fantasy 14 boss, avoiding all the patterns, except you have to know them ahead of time rather than having it telegraphed. My favorite set of quests, high difficulty quests, was probably... We'll make it to Sunday. I think it'll just be lost to most people since most people didn't do most challenge quests, including I don't even think it's the beginning ones. But I like the Jamboree one a lot. The one where I did a Tangador clear for. It was one where you were facing a lot of Trim-and-Tip, and depending on the phase, they could be either like the one with a shitload of HP or the ones you need to beat first, or things like that. It was very interesting. There was also the Zhangqi one, a classic. I didn't really like the Kanan one, but that's just because I made a shit there for it. Some people were better at it, but for me, like I couldn't really find a decent counter to it. Just kind of had to deal. But you know, it's sad when I'm talking about my favorite challenge quests being the ones from like 3 years ago or more. Yeah, you could have one shot in with Fashioning Sawaka and Bandy Fruit and other buffers. The old setup or break or Small Paralysis debuff, and Bandy Fruit was the only buffer at the time into it. I mean, he wasn't even supposed to be immune to it, it was just some weird bug. But whatever. There are definitely ways to do it, and a bunch of other people already had done one for this, which is why I did that extended clear. I thought it was more fun that way, but it's fine. If we're gonna go by event by event, none of them was impressive in Snow Fight. I don't even remember the nearest one for Year of the Rabbit, unfortunately. I know it had the 4 Lucky Gods, I already forgot the gimmick was. I think it's just you can blow her up instantly either way. For Kabukicho, for Gangstar, no, I don't really remember liking any of them. No. I remember what they were, but they're still generally very easy to counter. For Kabukicho Night Festival, I liked the last one, but that one didn't require team building. The first one was similarly conceptually interesting, but it was too easy to counter. For Akiba and Dragons, Yeah, no, I don't think any of them were interesting, honestly. I can't remember any if that's the case. And for Summer Pool Twilight, there was the boss thing that wasn't really that interesting. That was the most difficult of them. And none of the challenge quests were that good. Valentine Fantasy had a somewhat difficult one with its last one, but that was mostly just because it was a bit iffy with the mechanics in phase 1. Dealing enough damage to counter Balor was interesting though. At this point, I just use high difficulties for team synergy concepts or gimmick clears. I've always been doing that, honestly. I used to showcase specific team synergies that were cool. Like, for example, when I showcased Tanjiro Itzauna for the first few times, that wasn't specifically because it was countering quests. That was just a good synergy that I wanted to show off. And I did a few other synergies like that to show off. And of course, I tried to do some gimmick clears and also do some perfect counter clears, but overall, it's like you only got so much. There's oppression, and Bandy for had some weird skill where he cleansed it. That got removed though, I think. Yeah, he had it cleansed only on arrival or some shit like that because of the way it's implemented. It's not supposed to be resistant to that. There's just like a weird blending of when appearing and some removal skill that was mistaken to begin with, and that also was the wrong status in the first place, apparently. If we're going further beyond that, Showdown's high difficulty quests were all excellent, if only because of the restrictions set that you had to put on yourself. They were quite challenging for sure. Well, not the first one, but yeah, I like the gimmicks of having to switch between them, and the other one was completely damage resistant. For the level 71 and the level 81 was just everyone with Hermes being weird, and then the divine stuff and Benten's like CP range thing. It was very interesting. It's been like over a year since the last episode, really. I remember Akiba and Dragon's last head quest, but that's because I did it completely wrong and still won. That one would be... Man, I'm trying to remember them. The high difficulty quest where you had to there was 2 columns in left and right, and then later on you had to defeat, what's it called, Tindalos or something? Evil Tindalos. I'm not sure if that was a level 7 or 81. There was another one where it was like Pertoba boss and some all-range shit happening, or him trying to snipe you. I didn't know I had to actually hit the craters. I thought you had to not hit them. Yeah, that's the thing. It's some mechanics aren't clear, but either way you could still win easily. Maybe if affiliations and whoever comes after this campaign ends up being really worth it, then maybe I'll give them a pass for how shit Snowfight was. Maybe they were just like, okay, we'll give 0 effort for these side difficulty quests because we're going to be focusing on developing other things. But if they end up being not that impressive after this campaign, then my opinion will continue to sour in the direction it has been. Oh yeah, before Showdown was either Hell Hot Springs or Halloween Police. Both of them were pretty fun, I think. Well, maybe the theme-wise. Hell Hot Spring, I did like the drawing boss. And I think that also had that interesting multi-phase one where Saga in the second phase and maybe Suga in the last one. With last steps in the first one. That was a good one. And I don't think the Halloween Police's ones were too interesting besides the whole Azazoth giving you weapon range thing. So long slash. Yeah, Halloween Police's weren't that great. I think Hell Hot Springs were better. Before that, maybe it was Night Glows. I can't remember. Night Glows was fun overall. The high difficulty quests. Yeah, Halloween Police's music was definitely it sampled a really nice song, made it its own, and it didn't sound like fake rap like fucking Nightmare Kingdom did.
俺を出し抜くぜ。
I like the 70 quest in Onsen, but Jesus, that goes for trying to achieve that 80 height of quest. 70 height of the quest in Onsen. And Hell Hot Spring, you mean? Yeah, I like that one too a lot. That was the one with the... Was that the one with Miniaki? That was the one with Miniaki. That was really good. I do think both Night Glows and Hell Hot Spring were standouts for height of quest during that year. But, you know, they weren't super amazing. They were okay. I know with how they want to incorporate guilds more into gameplay, you think limiting certain height of quests to certain guilds could be interesting, or is that too arbitrary? You'd be forced to diversify. See, I love the idea. In practice, though, that would straight up prevent new players from playing the high difficulty quests at all. If they just straight up don't have people from that guild, you only are forced to get certain summoners in your guild, like MC and cheer and shit like that. It'll just straight up not let some people play. But, you know, fair enough, I guess, but not really fair for most people. Maybe if there was a secondary reward system for missions, I think that would be better than to force guild limitations in. Which is a problem because I like the boss Strong's gimmick of only taking one hit from all damage. So yeah, see, they have something like that. They need to implement something like that if they already have it like in your memory. It feels like they just had a lot of solutions to, you know, game-breaking issues we have right now that they're just not implementing that they already implemented before. There's a very clever solution with the boss Strong thing of only taking one hit thing. I don't even know how they implemented those. Cool. True, that's what I thought. Maybe we could provide a special support for you, like story events too. I mean, even if they provide the support, you'd still need your own member from the guild. I mean, the problem with the guild thing is that some of the guilds are just terrible in terms of usable units. Like, Itakun's best units are leaking Ophion. Leaking on Kachi. I mean, understandably. Yeah, I don't know. Even if they seem terrible, it would be interesting gameplay-wise. I don't care if they force us to use terrible units. But the issue is some guilds just don't have enough members. Like, the Game Masters is like 3 units total or some shit. And the Wiseman is just shooting duo and maybe Nodens. That's it. Like, there's not enough units for some of the guilds. That's the main problem. I don't care if we're forced to use shitty teams. In fact, all the better. Just like how we were forced to use shittier teams for the mid-cost things. I think it's better if we're forced to use units because they would also encourage them to start doling out more evos for those guilds and also, you know, releasing better units for those guilds as well to have a better spread of quality of units. The main issue would just be a lack of units within the guild. I suppose it won't be a problem if they do like a mixture of guilds, though. Like, you know, you can bring Tycoons or Berserkers, stuff like that. Gandharva as the only Guru attacker, let's go. Well, there's also Motosuni's variant, I think. And isn't Licho also part of the Gurus? With his, like, pyramid range, some shit? Oh no! I pressed play again when I should have started using my seeds. Okay, after this one. Oh, Gary McCall is part of the Gurus? I didn't know that. But yeah, I generally wouldn't care if they're, like, refers to shitty units because I want to use shitty units. I want to use units who are uncommonly used because they're not the most optimal. You know? Just don't make it so I'm forced to only choose the one shitty unit, or which is not a choice. It's just being shoehorned to survive with the same way everyone's forced to survive. Just, you know, give me a selection of shitty units so I can come up with a synergy across them that, you know, seems actually somewhat decent to handle the quest. Also, Christmas Raya for some reason. Yeah, I don't know. Despite Chapter 12 saying that it should be just the game masters and the entertainers who share guilds, it seems that some other characters actually do have some multi-guild status. Another example that you might know about is actually Aizen. In the Jamboree quest, or story, he ends up being like a provisional member of the missionaries for some reason. I think Ophion sends him over so that he can... Some weird reason about understanding what love is. So that he can understand where Ophion's coming from with his own love for, like, MC. And, you know, for better, since Aizen actually gets better character development and sees this in a different light. But as a result, he's listed as both a missionary and a tycoon's in his variant. Why did I use it again? No, I need to use Light Seeds. I guess limiting height of quests to a certain guilds would be too harsh, and just exempting 1 or 2 guilds would be more fair. Yeah, multi-guild is fair. New players should still be able to do it. Yeah, and if anything, I feel like they said something like in the guild page, or in the info page rather, that you can actually have members join other guilds or some shit like that. At the very least, I think it implied that MC could. If that's the case, he could feasibly bring any unit again, but just with more steps in the team. I don't know how that would work out though. But either way, if summoners are included, then you can always bring all mobs. I do think the mobs should be better corresponded to the guild, so, but maybe that'll be an option once we can actually start featuring units in different specific guilds. Okay, after this, I do the thing. Okay, after this fucker. If we have enough stamina. Or, you know, some stamina consumed so I can keep on growing it. Bye! Be back quickly.
次の季節もそのまた次も荒くねちゃんがいただきね。もちろんあなたの移ろう心も。
Close this off. Yeah, who was I seeding? Vargas, I guess. Alright, it's 80. We've only got 84. Alright. Let's resume. But yeah, more restrictions in general would be good. Not saying for a specific guild, but you know, enough that it would seem like a fair division. Sort of like the missions for being forced to only use wood units, for example. Technically, that could be impossible for some people, but that's only for people who like essentially never pulled, really. But at that point, it's their loss, and they probably don't care about the game in the first place. So maybe some fair division of guilds. Something like, you know, complete this quest with only berserkers or tycoons or missionaries, or complete this quest with only the sideshow guilds, aka the summoners or the outlaws or the wise men or shit like that.
向こうのビ
出し抜くぜ。
そら
まだまだ
楽しいな。
出し抜くぜ。
まだ
そら
まだまだ
まだまだあげ
楽しいな。楽しいな。
出し抜くぜ。
そら
お前と一緒だと笑いが止まらんぜ。さあ次はどこで稼ぎまくるんだ。
今年の夏も楽しいな。
まだ
楽しいな。向こうのビーチ
出し抜くぜ。
まだ
そら
まだまだあげ
楽しいな。
出し抜くぜ。
まだ
そら
まだまだ
まだまだあげ
楽しいな。楽しいな。
出し抜くぜ。
そら
まだまだ
まだまだやな。楽しいそら
どうでした？世間の先行く私のモード。次の季節もそのまた次も荒くねちゃんがいただきね。もちろんあなたの移ろう心も。
For anyone who does this, for anyone who grinds HP seeds for blossoms, why? Like, why? Explain yourself.
楽し
I do
楽
not
しいな。
comprehend.
向こうのビーチ
Explain it to me in baby terms. Like tiny monkey brains do not
そら
understand the logic. Why not just do ATK seeds? Why the HP seeds?
まだまだあげ
楽しいな。
出し抜くぜ。
まだ
そら
Hey, Coliseum Battle music. This seems pretty good too.
ま
まだまだあげ
楽しいな。楽しいな。
出し抜くぜ。
そら
作戦成功。これからも逃げまくるぜ。ずっと追っかけられてんのが俺には気持ちいいのさ。へへ。
さあ夏の最新
楽しいな。
通りだまだまだ上げ
楽しいな楽しいな向こうのビーチ
通りだガンバ
出し抜くぜ
ーンま
そう
まだまだ
Well, you know, if we're not getting Chapter 14 this year, that actually does free up a lot of time suddenly in the year's schedule.
まだま
The
だ
only thing I think they can really make up for it is just releasing more reprints as a result. They usually make the release of a chapter a big thing as its own event. This new semester sort of extending it.
まだ
Hopefully that means they'll finally translate Virtual Summer Memories and actually catch up. It'd be good if they actually went up the schedule for once. Kind of tired of being 1 year behind everything.
まだまだ
If I'm being perfectly honest, I'm not really interested in seeing anyone these days.
まだ
I pretty much worked on all my faves. I'm just working down the list of other characters I like just because. You know what? I respect that.
俺をた
I mean, you can see I'm not really seeing my favorites at this point either. It's just insurance. Plus, I want to play this game, so I'm gonna play it somehow. Tonight, or rather this campaign, technically isn't often free to play and usually roses. I will not squander that opportunity even if I don't really need it.
楽しいな向こうの
The alternative is to save it for coins. Which is like, if I just save my drinks for coins, then I'll just have twice as much coins as I did before, which I won't have as much to spend on because generally my coin usage corresponds to how much coins I gain based on what seeds I get.
俺には気持ち
And if I just increase how much coins you get, then that's just not gonna go anywhere. So you started blossoming Chernobyl again. He is a fave, but he doesn't need it, and you don't really use him anymore.
今年の
Yeah,
夏
I think I partially started attack seeking Chernobyl too. He's technically a cog gear, but not really. I just don't really like using him because he is a bit brain dead, or at least he was. With and he gives like unction and order and
出し抜くぜ
like CD and crit and shit like that and healing.
ま
そら
Maybe not brain dead, but just a bit boring to use. Not really functionally purpose-wise working for anything besides general defense and offense.
通りだ
I think I use them sometimes just for his unction that I can shuffle around for some tough seconds, but that's pretty much it.
出し抜くぜ
まだ
そら
まだまだ
通りだまだまだ上げ
楽しいな
通りだバンバ
出し抜くぜ
ーンま
そら
成功これからも逃げて逃げまく
I'm mostly just seed for convenience at this point. I usually sit on 100 seeds so I can instant max and event units attack at the start. I mean, that's good, but also kind of precarious. What if you get more seeds? Then you won't have any room to add anymore, really. And you might also accidentally overfill and lose some seeds as well. Well, you know what you're doing, so I'm not gonna add on to that. He's got a lot of healing defensive support,
向こ
but when I can just one-shot just about anything, why would I need it? See, that's the argument against using HP seeds and blossoms and building tanks in general. Teen Delos is an amazingly strong tank, his variant from Akiba and Dragons, that has 4 sources of damage mitigation if you can't unction from his
ま
shard.
だまだ
Like a ridiculous amount. And you will never use him, not because he's not good as a role, but because the role itself is pointless. This game is heavily focused on just one turn and everything, which is fine for grinding,
まだ
but I don't know. It definitely puts half the design units for tanking just in a different position.
通りだ
They would need to increase the difficulty. I wouldn't want to grind quests to rely on tanks. That would kind of suck. But at the same time, for tanks to be only useful in like high difficulty quests where you could also just one-shot everything, they just need to increase the difficulty of quests so that, you know, they strictly rely on tanks and cannot just be blown up instantly. We bought C capacity expansions, interesting. Literally the week before they gave us free capacity expansion for the anniversary last year. See, I've always been tempted to purchase it, but it's just like... it's pretty pricey for whatever reason. Goodbye, Kinglos. You've served well. Or, Akia rather.
夢のアンドバーリゾートが
出し抜くぜ。
This game is too easy. It certainly is. Well, if you've been playing for a while, it's too easy. For some people, they still moan about how it's difficult, but that only happens for like the first month or even just half a month of playing. Once you find the right carry support, it becomes moderately easy for like an indefinite period of time until you can build your own team, in which case it becomes automatically easy for everything, including quests you've never seen before. The game wasn't always too easy, which is unfortunate that it is now. But the problem is just that the units became too good and they have increased the difficulty. I honestly wouldn't have bought them if the seat capacity didn't cap out at 99 without any story expansions. I see. Yeah, that was a bit of a mistake, but it's not like you had future versions, so what can you do? Make sure you save your fragments, whatever they're called, transient fragments, for the time being. We should be getting that AR next week, maybe, from Andrade shop. The last time I remember struggling was Mahakawa, and even then that was because I brought the wrong team for that fight. You know, Mahakawa is a pretty difficult fight, even now. Like, even if I beat it on my first time, I'm just thinking, how would he even counter that properly? I don't understand. Can he even counter properly? It's just like irremovable buff reversal. Are you supposed to just like not have any buffs, or are you supposed to have an excessive amount of buffs? I don't really get it. Maybe you just rely on your backstock units. That'd be an interesting gimmick. I'm surprised we don't really have a gimmick like that yet. That absolutely requires you to have your front units die so that you can use your back units. Marduk chumps Mahakawa. He survived 6 stacks of fatal poison and burn. Seriously? What does Marduk even do that counters Mahakawa? All he does is just pushes him to the side and breaks him and curses him. I guess he does give him quite a few debuffs that aren't really dependent on his own personal buffs. Just use Shiva for buff strip, then blow him the fuck up with Kasuga. You can't strip what's called the buff reversal he gives you though, and if Kasuga gets his buffs, then that just reactivates it. He heals on hit, gets 6 hits, and refreshes combo with charge. Oh right, duh, healing. I forgot. Forgetting healing is actually an option in this game. So healing and deep damage debuffs. That would be a good strategy, wouldn't it? Against buff reversal. Smart thinking. I don't know why I didn't think of that myself. Well, then I only had to face Mako once in total. Oh, you know what's weird? For a short period of time before Chapter 12 was translated, I was grinding the Chapter 11 quest. One of them had Mahakawa, right? For some long period of time, the gimmick of that quest is you're supposed to hit Mahakawa 3 times, or rather the third time is the only, and later is the only time take the full brunt of damage, right?
そら
For whatever reason, when I was doing it, something fucked up with that status, so that I could actually only need to hit him twice. So the second hit onwards was doing full damage. It was weird, but it made like it a lot easier for me. With like a shite team.
楽しいな
Despite me being a chapter away from everyone else, I'm always picking these shite teams that aren't optimal.
そら
Problem with Murduke is that you have to survive Bircho's charge in phase 1 of the fight.
まだ
Oh yeah, what does he do, Bircho?
通りだ
His charge, that is?
まだまだ
Honestly, forgot.
楽しいな楽し
Might
い
be
な
weakness or something.
出し抜くぜ
そら
まだまだ
まだまだやな楽しいな
通りだ
そら
お前と一緒だと
He
笑い
hits everyone with all range damage and flat HP reduction.
どこで稼ぎまくるんだ
If it's just fast HP reduction, Murduke could probably heal. It's probably a lot easier now with Oz existing.
行こうぜオーナー俺と
I suppose the best way to counter buff reversal that's irremovable, super buff reversal, I suppose is what it's called, would be just healing and debuffs.
楽しいな向こ
Would
う
be the best choice for that. Maybe Necros.
出し抜くぜ
Then again, Necros doesn't need to miss
まだまだ
heals. Well, there's a lot of other choices for that. I think Hecate is also like a debuffer and healer. With her love strengthening, whatever that shit is.
通りだまだまだ上げ
楽しいな
I think it was a Sacred Artifact 100 charge for Bircho as well, so that was a problem too. Ooh.
そら
Yeah, there's not really any way to counter flat. Never mind, there's fucking Hermes. Or rather, healing
まだまだ
flat damage reversal. That status,
まだまだ
as you know, humble as it looks, is a bit too busted for high diff quests. It prevents enemies from inflicting a consistent damage, which is pretty important if you want to reset the threat that's not just trivialized to 0 damage. Take some guts or evasion or healing over like multiple defense stacks.
作戦成功これからも逃げて逃げまくるぜずっと追っかけられてんのが俺には気持ちいいのさへへ
さあ夏の最新通
楽しいな
りだま通りだ
楽しい
まだまだ
It sounds so good.
通りだまだまだ上げ
楽しいな
出し抜くぜ
そら
まだまだ
通りだまだまだ
楽しいな楽しいな
通りだバンバ
出し抜くぜ
ンま
そら
まだまだ
まだまだやな楽しいな楽しいそら
やったぜ見たかような将来有望のカウボーイ手綱つけとかなきゃ大損だ行こうぜオーナー俺と
楽しいな
通りだ
楽しいな ぬ
出し抜くぜ。
そーら
まだまだ
楽しいな
出し抜くぜ。
そーら
まだまだ
まだまだ
楽しいな
俺を捕らえ。
For those of you that play Law, Live a Hero, and have seen a fan translation of the story details, do you think it's worth it? Do you think the story's decent?
楽しいな
I'm considering my options here if I should stream or not. It's not really my type of gameplay when it comes to like
どうでした
turn-based combat like that, but you know, some of the designs look okay. I'm not generally a fan of the hero vibe or outfits, but
もちろん
you know,
あなた
I'm
の
willing to have my mind changed. Just thinking of if it would be a natural extension from Steam if one ever gets
楽しい
translated.
な
I know some other Housamo tubers are already displaying gameplay from it, such as Milk and Harvey.
楽しいな
You know, I'm more personally interested right now in like,
向こうのビーチで遊ぼう
is it interesting English-wise, like if I were to play through its story.
そーら
Because I actually don't know anything about the story so far, surprisingly.
まだま
Like
だ
anything at all.
楽しいな
出し抜くぜ。
まだま
そーら
まだまだ
まだまだあげ
楽しいな楽しいな
出し抜くぜ。
そーら
まだまだ
My experience is no one knows anything about Law's story, but that's probably just you? Really?
楽しいそ
So
ー
no one's translating the story then? That's sad.
作戦成功。これからも逃げて逃げまくるぜ。ずっと追っかけられてんのが俺には気持ちいいのさ。へへ。
行こうぜオーナー俺と
楽しいな
Wouldn't know, haven't played Law. Okay, thanks for the honesty and the feedback.
楽しいな向こうのビーチ
Hmm.
出し抜くぜ。
まだ
そーら
Thinking about games that I might expand to, not just Law, but in general. Whether
まだまだ
I have an audience that already would follow something like that or not is a consideration.
楽しいな
I'm pretty sure you've seen people in the Law Discord talk about the story, but I haven't looked into it myself. I'm just here for the gameplay and the hot guys. Very nice. I'm here for the entire package. I came here for the hot guys, but what got me to stay was the story and the gameplay and the hot guys. So far with Law, there's not really anyone super pulling me in besides maybe Borealis, but even then. So I'm sort of hoping that there's something more to latch onto than just furries.
まだまだ
I'm not exactly someone who's into furry bait per se.
まだまだ
楽しいな楽しいな
Like if they're furries, just for the sake of there being furries and getting the furry audience, I wouldn't be into it. In this case, you can't really say Housamo is doing that because it has both furries and humans, and it's like they do all sorts of things with depicting them in all sorts of forms, and I like that. And there's a legitimate reason for it too, not just like appealing, but also for appealing to every audience. It's niche, but also because there's just a huge diversity of mythos. Even translations for law are also on the blog, so yeah, he's doing all of that too. You see. Say he as if like I know who you're talking about, which I did. Oh, actually said it. Actually, Rose, I didn't read that first part. Let me read it. Ro is I'm just not reading it, and I'm not in the server for it. Just check Ro's blog thing, though there are chapter translations there. I'm sure. I see. La, I would like Alkiba, or Alchiba, not sure how you pronounce it, if he wasn't a freaking cop. Other than that, there's like Culta, I guess. How does these sound like Pokemon? Not a fan of cops? Well, I already said my opinion. I'm just indifferent about it. It can be hot, but it can also be like weird because of the whole public thing. Stop playing Law a month in launch since it wasn't translated. All you know is that the games have bulge, jiggle physics, and rip clothes where no furry characters wear underwear. Oh yeah, yeah, that's another thing. I actually did play Housamo before it was translated. They dropped it very quickly. So translations are important for me to at least latch onto something, despite me liking the character designs at first. If I don't know how to navigate the menus and I don't know like the basics of the story, just scrolling in, then it just, you know, what's presenting to me is just a gotcha formula that's sucking my resources dry. I want to like connect to the characters I'm playing for, right? And you can only do that through the story details. And that was very bizarre names, it's one of those. Akashi of all people dreaming in, aka Gunzo2. It's super rare for a main character to, of all people, to catch my attention. You know, do you consider yourself usually a hipster of sorts? Let's get that an MC catches your attention sometimes, so that you don't have to worry about there not being enough art for your favorite. I bet the people who made, who designed the hero clothing made it, for the clothing ripped so the view rating gets higher during combat. Quite possibly, yeah. Now that's a mechanic I somewhat vaguely know about. But I don't know, whenever I see porn of just like heroes wearing spandex and it gets partly ripped, I was like, it wouldn't better if it's just normal clothing. What's this like hero get up shit? I never found it sexy. It's like pajamas but for adults. Y'all understand. Where did it even originate from, the idea of superheroes wearing spandex? Like, I know it's big in comics. Was comics really the source of making everyone wear spandex? I don't get it. What was their source of inspiration for that? I thought Chiba was the detective. Anyway, I actually dropped the game really early because of lack of anything, but the gameplay units seemed more interesting to play with now. So I've heard that the gameplay was a lot more interesting and engaging in Law than it is in Housamo. Superman and Batman. Okay, were they just like original to themselves with their designs, or did they draw on something else? Because it unfortunately took off to the rest of the superheroes. you know, I don't mind outfits as long as it represents something that's interesting to the character and their backstory. Such as with Housamo. All the designs in Housamo, well, most of them, are really interesting because, you know, they're mythologically based and there's references to what they like and also references to the culture from and all that. And little things like that represents the world from which they came and in which they grew up and what they value. All that adds to a character deeply, visually, not just, you know, through their storytelling, but also just like, very directly through their physical appearance. For superheroes, it's just spandex. They like tight-fitting clothes. Like wearing pajamas, but for adults. I don't know. Like, it doesn't really appeal to me in a character sort of framework in terms of it doesn't add anything besides them plastering their own symbol in their own chest or something like that. Batman or Superman. Like wearing underwear over your pants. Yeah, exactly, right? Fucking underwear with his red briefs on top of his blue leggings. That just doesn't feel true. With that said, some superhero costumes that don't look like superhero costumes are pretty good. Like I sort of like Borealis's conductor stick, for example. You can tell what he as a result of it, but also very classic to his month or something like that. Like I'm all for you know, dressing to give a notion of what you're like. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now, you know. I take a long time to prepare my appearance so that I can give a vibe, so people can sort of make certain assumptions about me that may not necessarily be true, but are assumptions that I wanted to make about me. Like, you know, whether it's my beard ties or my groomed mustache, the specs I wear, the way I tie my hair, even this choice of like clothing right here. Like, you know, my shirt, got my overalls. A nice sort of natural color to them. Like all of it's intentional to give a sort of vibe of like writing a story about myself before you ever even meet me. I think that's my sense of fashion nowadays. I've always been struggling in the past before my sense of fashion. In fact, I could have streamed a lot earlier in this channel if I could have, but back then, before my first stream with my face, I was still like deep in the middle of figuring out my own style. In fact, I believe during my first stream I didn't even set up what's called groom mustache back then. But and I'm still figuring it out. But in the end, the main idea is I want to present a story about myself that people might make assumptions about. You know, that's still within the realm of realism and isn't completely ridiculous. It draws on from certain inspirations from what people have seen in popular media and what they associate with, such as, you know, beard ties and Vikings or crime lords or things like that. Pirates, yeah. And that's the kind of vibe I want to present. The superheroes wearing spandex, it's like, maybe now it's a vibe unto itself just because so many superheroes were, but like the base of it, where it originates from, it doesn't make sense to me. Like why would the first people who wore that wear it in the first place? What? Such gaudy, loud colors of red and blue from Superman. Or like wearing fucking bat ears for Batman, like, what? Like, what? Why? My fashion story, I look like a freeloader. I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean. But if you mean you look like a Sagwa, I guess there's a certain truth to that. I don't really like Sagwa's fashion, but I guess he pulled it off better with Arachne himself, with his white tux. According to Arachne, her goal was to make something that looks natural and fit the character. Which is why her quickly workshopped outfit for Sagwa was a lot more appealing than the specific clothing she prepared for her show. to this day, even now, I still think about
まだま
fashion and how
だ
to present myself and how to improve it.
楽しいな
It's not really something that I really understood from just trying to go with the flow. So now I'm taking a more proactive way of examining myself and adding new knickknacks and going myself out and stuff like that
まだま
to
やるやないか
sell an idea without saying anything. It's important to me. Because I'm tired of people
楽しい
making,
な
you know, presumptions about myself that isn't necessarily what I want. I'm a pet setter, so my fashion choices are, what if I don't mind getting covered in pet practical. You know, practical fashion is also quite good.
楽しいな
Like if you look like you're a firefighter, that's because you're wearing a firefighter outfit. That still has like a strong fashion statement in itself, even if it's not traditional fashion. It says, you know, you're there to save lives and all that. You're here to serve the city. You're probably, and it's probably coded so that you're muscular too. And if you take off your shirt, you're hot or something like that. It's coded, right? Even if it's a uniform, it's coded. It doesn't have to be like proper everyday fashion. So even if you're like dressed for something practical for work, it sends a message in the end, right? That's important. I'm pretty sure the exceptions to the Hispanics in here are generally characters who just wear stylized versions of their career outfits and la. I see. Interesting. I mean, yeah, I'd be down for more things like that, because Hispanics is just,
楽しいな
there's no place
楽し
in
い
it.
な
Hispanics doesn't come from anything in itself that I can think of anyways, besides maybe pajamas. But
まだ
before then, it just is born unto itself within the hero vibe, which is not great, in my opinion.
通りだまだまだ
The sort of vibe I'm trying to go for is, you know, someone who's well-wizened and is confident about their fashion and looks stylish and well-groomed, and but also isn't just going to conform to the most popular choice, and has actually put thought into their appearance and specifically put in thought into what looks good for them, and not just trying to look good for everyone, but rather trying to look good for a group of people they know they want to look good for. For me, obviously, I want to look good for bears and stuff like that. So I feel this would be attractive to them, not necessarily something that most people would agree is an attractive thing, but that's fine to me. So that's my sort of goal when I dress myself and improve myself. I'm still working on it, honestly. And
楽しいな向こう
it's a bit of a lie, if I'm being honest, with the presentation of, you know, me looking like,
楽しいな
let's go, I'm confident I have somewhere to go and all that, when I don't really have anywhere to go, and I second guess myself a lot. But as long as it gives the illusion that I know I'm doing, and that's the takeaway I want in the end.
逃げて逃げまくるぜずっと追っかけられてんのが俺には気持ちいいのさへへ
If you caught me like 1 year ago trying to stream,
今年の夏
I'd be like in my shirt,
楽しいな
hair messy, like no facial hair at all. Or if it was, it wouldn't be tied and just be like all over the place. I'd look like a photo.
楽しいな楽しいな向こうの
通りだバンバ
出し抜くぜ
ンまだ
そら
通りだまだまだ
楽しいな
バンバ
出し抜くぜ
ンまだ
Someone like Gaius gets away with wearing spandex because he's a diver, so it could still feasibly function as a wetsuit. Yeah, I think that's appropriate in that case, maybe. I think actors whose career is marine-based get away with that. You're right, absolutely.
まだ
At that point, it sort of becomes like a, you know, a personal kind of grievance.
ま
I don't really care about the swimmer's body archetype, and I don't really have a strong opinion about, you know, swimming careers in general. Something is just sort of far away from my mind.
楽しいな
It's like important for researchers maybe, but other than that, isn't it largely like a hobbyist thing? To go swimming.
世間の先行く
Wow, no
私のモード次の季節もそのまた次も荒くねちゃんがいただきねもちろん
But you are absolutely right. Only those that are divers can get away with wearing a wetsuit.
行こうぜオーナー俺と
It's just I don't really have a narrative in mind for swimmers. No preset idea of what I should think of people who wear stuff like that.
向こうの
出し抜くぜ
そら
まだまだ
楽しいな
出し抜くぜ
まだ
そら
まだまだ
まだまだ
楽しいな
出し抜くぜ
そら
どうでした世間の先行く私のモード次の季節もそのまた次も荒くねちゃんがいただきねもちろん行こうぜオーナー俺と
楽しいな
まだまだ
楽しいな向こうの
If you have a specific fashion choice, though, I beseech you to do something narrative-driven to give an idea of what you're about. Maybe not necessarily truthfully what you're about, but what you want people to think you're about. I know some people don't really care about what other people think, which I guess if you're at that point, then I can't really tell you what to do. But, if you like looking at certain people because of the way they're dressed or what they're about, consider, trying to present yourself in a way that would also be appealing to someone like you looking at you from a different outfit. In the very least. I think it's easier for gays to do that. At least it's easier for me to choose how I dress. I don't know how guys dress besides trying to look at other guys or something like that to decide what they like. Or going with what girls think is good, but at least for me, there's less roundabout way of examining things. I try to look at the mirror and be like, what do I want to see for myself? What would I be attracted to, essentially? What would make me want to commit self-obsessed? Things like that. But if we're talking about like professional things, like if you're a pet sitter, for example, as is the case for Lazy Crow, maybe there's certain types of fabrics that are better off not catching onto furs. You may also try to associate yourself with bringing a duffel bag full of pet tool equipment. I don't know. Something that gives an idea of what you want. If you want to look like a pet sitter, that is. If you don't want to look like a pet sitter while you pet sit, that's a different story. I suppose it's not just about what it looks like, but also what's suitable for you. Find a balance between what's functional versus what works for your appearance wise. You mostly wear plain color clothing with Van shoes. I mean, plain color is inoffensive for the most, and Vans are also largely inoffensive, I think. It's easy, right? I used to wear simple stuff too. Didn't really think about things. Honestly, I probably wore worse stuff than that just didn't color match at all. So it's good that you're probably wearing plain clothes as opposed to me. Sometimes I wore some bad clothing and didn't care. It depends on what you carry in the end. But for me, I was at a phase in my life where I just didn't like what I saw in the mirror. So I tried not to think about it, and I tried to avoid looking in mirrors and tried to go in the mentality with, it's not the looks that matter, it's inside the heart. But at the same time, how could I honestly feel that way when, I didn't, find what I saw in the mirror attractive whilst finding other people attractive? It's something like, there has to be some sort of compromise somewhere, you trying to make yourself look better for at least your own sake, if not anyone else's.
前と一緒だと
Like
笑いが止
genuinely
まらん
makes
ぜ
you want to look in the mirror and be
さ
proud
あ
of what
次
you
は
see.
どこで稼ぎまくるんだ
Be like, hey, I am so glad I'm this person. I'm a lucky person to see this person in the mirror. But it's not luck in the end, right? It's all hard work and effort, intentional effort. So for some people, for other people, it's like
行こうぜ
they're just born lucky to look amazing.
楽しいな
おとりだおとりだ
楽しいな向こう
バンバ
出し抜くぜ
ンま
そら
おとりだまだまだ
楽しいな
出し抜くぜ
そら
やるやないか
楽しいな
ま
そら
まだまだ
おとりだまだまだ
楽しいな
If I were to start summer though, if you really want to start looking at yourself in the mirror, forget about fashion first. Just focus on the face. I know it might feel like you can't really change your face from those, but there's a lot of things you can do. I mean, you can see my face.
どうでした
The hair, the
世間
haircut,
の先行く
the
私
ties,
の
the
モード
specs,
次の季節もそのまた次も
facial expression practices, getting the right lighting, getting the right angle,
もち
facial
ろ
hair,
んあなたの
things
映
like
る
that.
心も
You can't be in full control of your face, but
行こうぜ
it's probably the best place to start because
おとりだ
more people will judge you more first for your face than for your fashion.
おとりだおとりだおと
I
り
mean, you know, when you look at porn, the first thing you look at is your face, not what you're wearing.
向こうのビーチで遊ぼう
おとりだバンバ
出し抜くぜ
ンまだ
そら
おとりだまだまだ
楽し
Fashion in the game disliked character design aesthetics. I will
た
have to look it up then.
出し抜くぜ
Alright, fine. I will look it up. This
まだま
そら
light. Oh, interesting. Yeah, it's very intentional. It's not just, you know, casual clothing, but they're dressed for, I don't want to say success, but they're dressed to stand out. Not like in a clown way, but in a very striking sort of ensemble kind of way. At least from the first images I'm seeing. Like it comes together to send an image, like an idea of the person. And they're not just mute, right? They're intentionally there to be attention-grabbing to some extent. Not in like a way clown shoes kind of way, but in a way that's intentional and not trying to be hidden in the crowd.
やったぜ見たかような将来有望のカウボーイ
You got into wearing pastels lately. Interesting. Not full on from head to toe, mind you, but I'm taking a lot of messy art classes, so I tend to wear joggers and some t-shirt with a hoodie. I look like a bum. I mean, if you have like art stains all over your clothing, and
まだまだあげち
you're also wearing practical or bringing with you practical equipment like easels and paintbrushes and all that, you can give off the vibe of an artiste,
出し抜くぜ
a painter.
まだ
そら
Whatever vibe you want, you can aim for it. And I know like there's practical considerations. Maybe you don't want to look like a painter or something. But if you absolutely have to wear some sort of clothing that you won't mind getting
まだまだ
dirty or, you know, painted over, go for some kind of vibe, you know, not just for
出し抜くぜ
the default vibe. Never go for the default.
まだ
Go for something intentional. That's I'm not a fashion expert, but that's one thing I can say confidently. Never go for the default. Always go for something that seems intentional. Now, whether that intentional thing is good or not, then that's a different question that will take a lot of answering and different opinions. But it's definitely something that looks like you intended to look that way, and it was prepared that way,
出し抜くぜ
rather than you just
まだ
left out of the closet and went out as fast as possible with the first new stuff. As long as it looks intentional, I can guarantee you it'll like increase your impression like a lot more than something that just looks incidental.
前と一緒だと笑いが止まらんぜ。さあ次はどこで稼ぎまくるんだ？
Yeah, we can do a few more, but then we will use our seeds and call it a day for today.
さあ夏の最新
楽しいな
Well, I know what to rename the stream
まだ
title. Something about fashion. Fashion tips from Arathun. Something like that. How to be a male model.
ま
そら
How to take the pants off and see with one look of the eye. With these 3 tips. Was there 3? I think there's only just 1 tip. Just
ま
be
だ
intentional.
楽しいな
出し抜くぜ。
まだ
そら
まだまだ。
鳥だまだまだ
楽しいな
鳥だ
出し抜くぜ。
そら
どうでした世間の先行く私のモード。次の季節もそのまた次も荒くねちゃんがいただきね。もちろんあなたさあ夏の最新鳥だ
楽しいな
鳥だまだまだ鳥だ
楽しいな向こうの
バンバ
出し抜くぜ。
ンま
そら
鳥だまだまだ
楽しいな
俺を
バンバ
出し抜くぜ。
ンまだ
そら
やるやないか。
楽しい
How
な
many times can you fail harder?
楽しいそら
まだまだ。
鳥だまだまだあげ
楽しいな楽しいな
バンバ
出し抜くぜ。
ンま
そら
まだまだ。
まだまだやな楽しいな
鳥だま
そら
やったぜ見たかような将来有望のカウボーイ手綱つけとかなきゃ大損だ
Oh my god. Dying from this cough. Anyway, that should be it. We are at 4 o'clock ET. So that is 3 hours. Let us go ahead and review how much items we have, or rather how many drinks we have left over. We are ending off with, well, how many drinks didn't change? 70 majors, so we ended up using 30 in total. Jeez. Excellent. Yeah, 30 is a nice target for every stream. Let's go ahead and use these as attack seeds though. Finish off Vargas, then second someone else. Come on. There you go. Now, who is also reliable at... Well, somewhat reliable. I guess we'll do a trader block next. Column clearing damage. Did I waste a bit of that seed? If you're talking about the thing it's starting off with, the +1s, those aren't wastes, technically. I mean, they technically are, but not really. I added them specifically to mark the ones I want to prioritize attack seeding. And those attack seeds I didn't get from grinding, but I got them from the ally gacha. So pretty much anyone you see that has like 1 or 3 seeds, some shit like that, was intentionally just so that I could see them ahead in the list to attack seed first. I'll show you after, but oh no! No, that's a waste of coin, rather, when I get to it. But anyway. Yeah, you see all these units are, like, generally for one reason or another, I want to taxi them. All of them have some sort of damage buff, or the only exceptions would be, what's it called? Shiro, because I taxied him in the very beginning of the game when I started playing, and I didn't realize he was a bad choice. And Agio, but I only taxied him because I level seeded him too. But you can see I just did not attack seats all these people down here, which are just like 0 point. Maybe I'll attack seed Inawa actually, since I level seeded him a bit. But no one else here is attack seeded as a result of me seeing them as kind of dead weight. Anyway, let us head to the guild, and I will give my closing thoughts. Let's give you a fancy. One of these has got to work. I sort of got most of these are fucking cheesy as fuck. Hold on, it's very important I pick something like classy for this. One of these gotta be classy. Should have looked at this before. Cue the sad music because I failed to find anything classy. Very important. Wait, is that? Okay, that's okay, I guess. Kind of mismatching, but whatever. Alright. Anyway. So, that's the end of today's stream. We successfully finished taxiing Barghest and started off... Actually, we finished 2 different units, and then we started off with Chernobog now. Not that it matters, since it's just like deadweight units at this point. So this campaign will continue until sometime after next weekend. Look forward to next weekend when I will likely... I was like for sure on it before, but now I'm only going to say I'm likely to stream grinding again, maybe next Saturday. And look forward to Sunday, because for sure on this next Sunday, not today obviously, we'll be doing a tier list stream with me, Harvey, Milk, and Archendale, aka the owner of the Housamo Archive channel. So look forward to that. And thank you for joining me, anyone who stuck around until the very end, as well as anyone who's just seeing the replay after they left. It was a pleasure to grind for you. Hopefully the rest of this campaign goes fairly smooth for you, and hope you get wherever you want from the banners if you're deciding to pull. If not, then good luck to new semester whenever that happens. So I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.